So welcome back, everybody, to another edition of Unriveted, a Dakota Customs original podcast. I'm your host, Travis Feist, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Rob McLeod.
Happy Hump Day, everybody!
Yes, happy Hump Day. It's
I gotta come up with new opening lines, so
yeah, you better come up with quite a few because we're gonna be doing this for quite a while.
I'll have to sit down and jot them down.
Yeah, maybe be like Ron Burgundy and have like your own like custom, like that's like your one line.
My claim to fame just off one-liners.
Yeah.
I got a few of those.
Yeah, so you could work on that too. Be known as the Ron Burgundy podcast.
Yeah, I feel like they're better when they're impromptu though.
Yeah,
more natural.
Yeah, it's like anything else. It works out better when you just wing it.
Oh yeah, that's pretty
Seems
much how
like
we
what
roll.
do. Yeah,
And it works out pretty well.
Yeah, sometimes just even building stuff, it's like we just kind of wing it last minute, and it actually like it works out really well.
Yeah, I'm sure you can relate, Steve.
Yeah. So shop's been pretty hectic. It's been busy. I mean, I know we say that a lot, but it is. We got a lot going on. Just on what was it on Monday? We had a car club come through, and they were from Canada. Or it was on Friday. They're coming down from Canada, from Minnesota, parts of North Dakota here, and they were passing on the way through to Dickinson. And they stopped and checked out our facility, and we gave them a tour. So that was pretty neat, kind of cool.
Yeah, actually, I saw a lot of those cars rolling out to Dickinson when I was on my way back from Bozeman. And then when I shot back out to Medora the next day, and I saw a lot of those. We passed a lot of cars coming back from Medora on Saturday, so it was actually pretty sweet. With the car shows and all the outdoor events, you only see those cars in broad daylight. So when you see them rolling down the road at night and at dusk, it like just adds a whole nother vibe to these cars. It's like they're putting on miles. You see them like it's even something just see them rolling down the highway and not seeing them parked. Like these cars are being driven. They're just like I saw I think it was an early '50s Merc coupe. And that thing just looked so killer. It was a light blue, and then of course it had the old school, like almost like commercial grade headlamps. And just to see that thing just low, cruising down the interstate, it was cool.
Mm-hmm. And and that's the thing. It's not even the highway; it's the interstate cruising. I mean, that's even to me. I think that's even cooler yet.
Yeah, there was one old boy with a Pontiac, and like I don't know, we were driving in a Tundra or something like that, and we came out of road construction. He romped on it, and that big body Pontiac got up and scooted.
Right.
Yeah, we just smelled a bunch of gas coming out of that thing.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and with that, it's with everything going on with the holidays and everything, we had Buggies and Blues here. And it just seems like ever since then, it's like this whole next month just kind of flew by. And I can't believe in 2 weeks we're going to have Sturgis.
Yeah.
And it's hard to believe. It's just like we just had Buggies and Blues here yesterday, and already it's Sturgis.
Which is scary because I have gotten little phone calls for bike prep for Sturgis, so I really hope those phone calls don't start showing up.
Yeah, well, it's inevitable. It seems like it never fails every year. Yeah, and so, but it's
last
just
year
crazy.
was bad.
Yeah, it was, and it's just crazy to think like it's going to be here in 2 weeks. So it's like wherever summer's gone, it's just insane.
Yeah, I just had my birthday June 28th, and then I get a call saying my snowmobile's being built. It's like, ain't ready for it.
No.
Financially or weather-wise either.
Yeah, we're still in summer mode here. Yeah, let's not talk about sled.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, with that, I want to bring in, and I know it took a little planning, but we finally got Steve Darnell on. I know he's been busy and he's got a lot of stuff going on, but we actually we lassoed him and got him on our show. So welcome to the show, Steve.
Right on, man. Glad to be here.
Yeah,
morning, Steve.
Right on. Hey, and I want to say, we met you at the Buggies and Blues event, and when you were down here with the Adelins Believer, and I do have to say is I've talked to a lot of, and I guess however you want to name it, famous, well-known people that are out there, and my hat's off to you, Steve. That it's like, man, it's just like we knew each other for years. Like we can just sit down and have a conversation and talk about trucks, and it's like that kind of means a lot when you can meet somebody and you could just tell like he's got the same kind of passion that you do, and that you can sit and carry a conversation, and meeting you was quite the honor.
Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't start off by being famous, so
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
you got famous by being
I don't
passionate about what you're doing. Yeah.
I don't even know I am. Like, I walk into a place and I'm like, what's this guy looking at? Like, why does he keep staring at me? Yeah, I still don't know that.
Right.
You know,
So-
'cause you're not like Brad Pitt famous. You're just like car guy famous. So
Yeah.
at that point, you become a dude magnet. I should have been a singer because then I could have probably got a lot of chicks. But
Yeah,
I got a lot
sure.
of dudes
Yeah.
that like me.
Yeah, you know what's funny? I we'll get back into. I'm gonna ask you like how you got started, but you know what's funny that you say that because
Jesse James
I
said the
seen
same
this-
thing.
Yeah, I was watching this podcast with Jesse. Did you see that one when he was on the Roadster Shop? Steve?
Oh yeah, no,
Oh.
I didn't see it.
And he was on there, and he's like, I think he was saying at the time, this is, don't quote me, but he's like, yeah, he says, my wife was all like worried that, because I'm an awesome welder and this car builder that, it's like all these chicks want me and I'm just this chick magnet, but instead I just created this legend of dudes that, it's like on my Instagram and stuff, more dudes are like, hey, thumbs up. And when I go out, it's like all these dudes come up and they're like, awesome car. But it's like the women think that, like you just created like this big, huge, like you're this chick magnet, but really you just created this throne of
No, it's funny because it's like I go into a restaurant and you'll see the guy like, he's just like, holy shit, right?
Yeah.
And then
He looks at you like you're a hot
then
chick
the,
or something. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the lady, his wife, is like super confused on what's the big deal?
yeah.
And then if I kind of, you can kind of, it's protocol, so I kind of watch it. Then the phone comes out, and then he looks me up, and then he shows her, and then all of a sudden she gets all excited, and then he doesn't have it in him to come up to me and ask me if I get a picture. So he sends his wife over, to get the picture, and so
So it almost
it's usually the only way I get a chick to approach me is if they're getting a picture for their
indirectly
boyfriend
to
or
someone else's
girlfriend
wife,
or
I guess.
husband.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit, because at first, maybe the wife is thinking or the girlfriend's thinking like, maybe it's the cutoff jeans that got the guy's attention. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah. Kind of funny, but it just kind of stuck with me, because I don't know. My dad used to get mad at me for cutting my pants off because I worked for my dad for I don't know, about 12 or 13 years, and I was an iron worker and worked in a steel yard, loading, structural steel rebar and welding and doing all this shit. But it was so hot, it's hot. I was always, Vegas is hot.
Right.
So I started cutting my pants off, I was a young guy. And it just kind of stuck as my biggest attire, and even when I go places, I'm like I'll go to Canada for an appearance and forget that it's like 20 degrees outside, and like, Canadians are looking at me like, they laugh, they think it's funny,
Well, it's a it's a 2-for-1 deal. You get pants and then you cut them into shorts.
Yeah, you can
That's right.
wear them out as jeans and then you get some shorts after the fact.
Yeah, brand new ones. Just
Yeah.
cut 'em right off.
Brand new.
I don't even wear them.
Because usually the knees go out, so you come right above the knees. Now you have brand new shorts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
it's funny because most guys will wear their pants out and then they'll cut them, but I just cut them right when I buy them.
Yeah, there you
I
go.
don't even
Yeah,
put them on.
yeah, that's
Put 'em on.
OG right there.
So tell us, Steve, like, how did you start getting into where you're at, like right now? Like what,
Or maybe
where
like
did all this start or got you into it?
Well, I mean, like I said, I grew up as a, steel worker, and I worked my butt off as a young man. I loved cars, but I was, I loved welding. I thought welding was so cool. Just my dad was a welder, and I mean, he became more of a businessman than he did a welder, but he worked every day outside with me, like loading stuff. But then he pretty much made me do all the welding so he could run the business,
Mm-hmm.
And, but, my mom and dad always had cars and stuff. my grandpa had cool cars and stuff, so I just grew up around it, and didn't really come from like a race car background. It's not like my parents were like heavily involved in the race car world or nothing. They just had old cars, and and then my mom and dad separated when I was little. She moved up to Montana, so I grew up like half of my life in Montana. So she married a guy from eastern Montana. And my cousins had a ranch out there in the middle of nowhere. Like, I'm talking 40 miles on a dirt road in the middle of nowhere.
It gets pretty desolate in eastern Montana.
Yeah, up in Montana.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, actually, it's over there kind of in between, like, Broadus and Ekalaka. You guys probably know where that is, being up that way.
A little bit, yep.
In Belfouche, kind of
okay.
Belfouche area,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And anyway, so, and my cousins had this ranch, and my Uncle Dorn was so cool, I'd go out there and sit in the tractor with him and, cut hay or go feed cows and stuff with him, and it was so cool, and then I just loved the mechanics of, like, the ingenuity of, tractors and farm equipment. He had this old farm field out there that, like, our great-granddaddy had back in, like, probably the early 1900s, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there was farm equipment made out of, like, freaking Model A, like buck rakes and, like, I don't know, pulley
Cool.
systems, and they made everything out of a Model A, right?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Four-cylinder on them, sawmills, and I remember walking through this old scrap pile and just going, this is so cool. I didn't even know really what I was looking at, but I just loved how they had, turned the car around and made it into something. And
Mm-hmm.
so, that being said, I grew up kind of seeing that. And then my dad, he was a steel worker, so I'd come to Vegas. And then I was in the steel industry. And, he could weld. And he had all this metal around. And, pretty soon I just kind of started learning how to weld things together, and at a young age. And I liked it. I loved it. I thought it was so cool. And, once I got to be in my teenage years, probably my late teens, say 18, 19 years old,
Mm-hmm.
I got this, kind of started feeling like a badass, like, man, I could build some stuff. And, started, your friends call you up, say, hey, I need to fix this, and go over there and weld it together for them real quick with an old stick welder, because I didn't even MIG weld till I was probably 21.
Mm-hmm.
Everything I did was stick welded together. So, and once I got into that thing and started really, really welding some stuff together, I just kind of really liked it, and started building a few cars here and there, but they were, 67 short box trucks, and big blocks in them, and doing little things like that, and lifting trucks way, way too high in the air, and,
Nice.
having fun with all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So that kind of really, like, set the tone for what I'm doing today, like at a young age. And, didn't really have that much direction. It was just kind of, here you go do it, and figure it out.
All right.
So, I learned just looking at other people's welds and,
Mm-hmm.
tried to do the best I can. But after a while, you just kind of start putting it together, and before you know it, you're working on stuff and making it run and having fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so in about 2000, maybe 2001, 2000, I'd kind of had enough of Vegas for a while. I was like, you know what? My kids were little, and my two little boys were just babies. I mean, they were a couple years old. I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to move them up to Montana and put them in school up there. And so at that point, I was married, and I loaded all my stuff, and I headed up to Montana. Didn't know what I was going to do. I just figured I'd figure something out when I got there, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd bought a piece of ground up there like a year or two before and started paying off my property, so I'd move up there and build a house. So went up there, started building a house, and had me a little shop there, and I started welding up. And I was welding farm equipment.
Wow.
I spent one summer, maybe 2 summers, building chimpanzee cages that were like huge.
What?
Like,
For like
these
transport
huge
or?
chimpanzees. Yeah, like, so this lady called me It was the craziest thing because in Montana, who would have chimpanzees, right?
Well,
I thought for
And
sure you were gonna say farm equipment. You said chimpanzee
yeah,
cages.
never saw that. Never saw it. Did not
Yeah, I
expect
was
that.
doing like I was doing all kinds of crazy stuff, but like one of the craziest things was like this lady called me out and she's like, I've called like 5 welders and no one will even come out here to look at this, and I'm like,
What?
I don't know. You know what? This sounds kind of interesting. Let me go see what she's talking about. So I drove out about 60 miles from where I was living, and sure enough, man, I pulled up and she's got these 2 little chimpanzees that are just, I mean, freaking everywhere. And she's like, they're getting so big I can't control them anymore. Like I got to put them in cages, you know. So I think the first one I built her beds. I built her beds that you could lock them in, these cages with doors and stuff. And then pretty soon I built this big cage in her kitchen so they could sit in there. And then like maybe a little while longer, she's like, well, I'm moving to a new house and I want to build this. She buys this big room. I don't know, it's probably like 4,000 square feet, 3,000 square feet. And because I want to build this whole room into a big cage, like a jungle, indoor and outdoor. So I built, like, you wouldn't believe this stuff. I made it out of like 3/8-inch rock screen, you know, that you screen rock with.
Yeah.
Because they're so strong, you know, you got to make it strong. And it was like 4-inch square tubing, and all the pillars that I made it out of, I made the pillars look like trees so they could swing
sick.
on them and shit. And like,
So you
it
made
was
like
pretty
a
gnarly.
like
So
a metal
I did
jungle.
all this stuff yeah, it looked like a little jungle in there, and then you could go outside, and then she would bring these grown males in there, and they're like 200, 20 pounds, and I mean I'm talking like they will rip your head off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're aggressive.
And so I had to make these bigger these strong like prison, like I'm not kidding, like a prison. I made like all these prison cages that you have these slam gates that would shut and latch, and when you feed them, you could pour the feed in there, and then it would, as you would shut it, it wouldn't allow them to get their arm up there and grab you because they'll grab your arm.
What the
I mean, I don't even know why people would want these things, right? and then they shit and throw it at you, and I'm like, okay, we got it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but at some point, I'm like, all right, well, I did good. I made some good money. I built all these crazy chimpanzee cages and stuff like that. But it was like a year of something just crazy that I never thought I'd ever do.
No.
You know what I mean? It's just
So
crazy.
Hey, I gotta ask, what's your chimpanzee hourly rate?
What's that?
What's your chimpanzee hourly rate?
Yeah, does it go up?
Oh, yeah, it goes down.
It goes down.
Yeah. I mean, they're
How do
crazy.
you?
They're an insane animal.
Well,
they
yeah.
really are. Like being around a primate like that. It's like, I mean, they're just insanely like.
Well, they have like
athletic.
and they have like human qualities too.
Yeah, because they would climb up in the raptor and stare at me and just rock back and forth and like mad because I'm there, because I'm ready to make noise all day or something. You know what I mean? So I tried to stay away from the little suckers. It's right there.
And dude, you can't make
Do
this
something
up.
weird.
No.
Dude, you can't make stuff like this up. There's no way you go from building chimpanzee gorilla cages to like cars.
Well, I kind of like. It's like
Especially in Montana in the middle of nowhere. Like, you just don't make that.
It was in the middle of nowhere, too. She was, like, in the middle of nowhere. Like, seriously. Like, it was insane. And then...
Have you ever tried to reach out to see if, like, is she still around? Or are they still there? Or, like...
No, what happened is something happened with her. I think she got caught up in some bad land deals that were not her land that she was selling or something. I'm not real sure, but... something went south and it all disappeared, all of it. And then they went in there and they cut all my stuff down and threw it away. And I was like, what?
Oh, man.
Yeah, so
dang it.
That's insane.
yeah, it was. At one point, he flew me to Kauai, and I was going to build a 5,000 square foot cage in the jungle for these things when she went on vacation.
Holy.
Like, so I went there. I went to Kauai for a week and like measured this out and figured it all out. And it was crazy, dude, crazy. But I mean,
Wow.
basically, what this all comes down to is just being diversified on things that you can do. Besides like when you become a welder, you feel like you can do anything.
Right.
But at the same moment, there's so many different kind of welders, but that's kind of what got me thinking, you can do pretty much anything you want to do. But I've always had a love for cars, and, I actually rodeoed for like 20 years, so I've team roped and pulled horse trailers all over the freaking country, and my kids raced motorcycles, and they rodeoed, and matter of fact, one of them still team ropes. But, just being around all the western part of it, and then being down here in Vegas, like, it was crazy as a kid. Like, one month I would be in the middle of nowhere, pitch black, can't see nothing but a yard light on the house, like quarter mile from the shed, and you had to just walk towards that, to Vegas lights and
Sin City
girls and cool cars and Lamborghinis and Ferraris, and it was insane.
That's insane. So how long?
And at the time, I was kind of confused as a kid, like, what should I do with myself? But when I started building these rat rods, I just kind of merged them all together, and just takes time. But that's what I think got me so into what I'm doing and my style. It's my own kind of style, I think, on a lot of these, because I don't really watch other TV shows, and I don't really look at magazines, and because I just feel like it alters my imagination.
Right.
I feel like if I look at someone else's work, then that's what I would want to try to copy or something. So I try to do as much as I can on out of my own brain,
right? Which
is tough. Sometimes it's hard because I build 100 of these things, and you're like, okay, what can I do next?
Right.
But it's funny because the vehicle actually tells the story as you build it.
Right.
It's kind of crazy. Like, it doesn't matter what it is.
Right.
It'll tell the story as you're building it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of feel like each project, semi-truck, car that you build is pretty easy to decipher that you built it over anyone else. It's like even your rat rods, if you want to call them that, stand out next to other rat rods. It's just you got your own signature characteristics of each build you do, and I think that's just like it's hard to do because customs are a dime a dozen, even though they're each a custom within their own. But you have found a way to kind of stay in your lane and consistently stay in your lane and build your own style of just a cool vehicle, whatever it may be. So it's super respectable.
Well, yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, there is a lot of work that goes into these things. People, they think of a rat rod, and it's just some pile of crap all.
No, yours is definite art for sure.
It's and that's one of the things about being a guy that builds like rat rods. It's like you got to go above and beyond to prove to the car community. The thing of it is a guy with a street rod that you're parked next to at a car show, no one's looking at his car. You put a 67 Chevelle there with a big block, badass car, and then you park my rat rod there, they're going to come look at the rat rod.
Yeah.
But you want the guy that you park next to walk over and look at that thing and go, really can't say a lot about this because it is pretty well put together and it's like super cool and creative. That's the guys that you have to work extra hard at trying to convince them that this is cool.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad, he cracks me up because my dad will come in here and he's like, you ever going to paint any of this crap? I'm like, Dad, I go, this is what you guys were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is what you were doing back in those days. You guys were just putting stuff together and going to junkyards, and especially like my grandpa's era, they were coming out of World War II, going over to the junkyards and pulling V8s out of, Mercuries and putting them in their 32s and, going out and kicking butt,
Right.
Yeah.
And, now it's changed so much because of the online shopping and everybody has to follow rules and you got to have Chrome this, Chrome that. If you don't do this, you're not going to be accepted into the car world. And I think that's where rat rods just was a big, hey, kiss my ass. I'm going to do what I want.
Yeah.
We can't afford to do what you're doing. even though these rat rods are not cheap if you build them right.
Oh, absolutely.
We're building. We're actually probably doing more because you buy a Chevelle, it's got the upper and lower control arms already in it. It's got a rear end in it. It's got a drive line in it. It's got doors on it. It's got door handles on it. It's got all the stuff, right? Well, when you get these, you got a body you found up in North Dakota somewhere that's been sitting in a hayfield for 80 years. You drag it out,
build the rest around it essentially.
You gut out all the stuff under it, and all you got's a body sitting in the shop, and then you're like, oh, crap, okay, well, I need a front axle now, I need a rear axle, I need this and that. And,
right.
After a while, you're just digging around out in farm fields, finding a Model A front axle out of something, and, but you still got to go down and you don't have to, but, put some good brakes on it, put some disc brakes on it, and get a good master cylinder, because, brakes are pretty much the most important thing,
I can see that.
But at the same moment, it's like, there's still, you got to, I'm going to chop and channel this thing. Okay, well, there's another 2 weeks of your life.
Right.
Trying to get this thing down on the ground. And so to be able to restore a 57 Chevy, they're no walk in the park. Believe me, I've done them before.
Mm-hmm.
But I think for the most part, this, I got to get on my shoulder. The crickets started going off in there and annoying the hell out of me. They moved in.
Oh no!
But yeah, I just feel like there's just so much more personality and work ethic and determination and your heart and soul, and the car becomes an extension of you, and it becomes a actual being of some kind, And you look at what's going on today in the world. Like, you might as well there is nothing that you go by today that you're going to keep. Nothing. It's all junk. Everything is all junk now.
Mm-hmm.
You might keep it for 20 years, but after 20 years, it'll go maybe another 10 years, but after that, it's getting crushed.
Right.
If Ford trucks and Chevy Duramaxes and all these new late model Priuses and Teslas and Hyundais and all that is going to be grinded up and remade into more cars.
Right.
It's not going to be like a 32 Ford. It's not going to be like a 57 Chevy. It's not. It's that time frame from the Industrial Revolution to now is we've held on to it pretty good. Mm-hmm. And there'll still be guys like us that are going to keep bringing them out and like building them and having fun with them. But as our world gets more and more like fast paced, and look at these cars nowadays. Like you can go down and buy a CTSV Cadillac. It's $10,000. It makes 750 horse, air conditioning, launch control, cornering, the seats keep you in it, the air condition. Like, come on, man. You can't even. That's why I gave up. Like I realized they're making electric Tesla cars that run 9 seconds in a quarter mile. It's like, why am I even trying to build anything fast anymore?
Right.
Like when you can go get a man bun in a freaking electric car and go beat your butt on a track strip when some poor sucker like me spent 6 months of his life building this badass blown big block and get beat by a 4-wheel drive freaking electric car that you can buy.
Yeah, that'd
just
be
went and bought.
demoralizing.
Yeah. It's insane.
Yeah, so I'm just going to build rat rods because at that point, the Tesla, it is a driving computer that does not give a crap and no one cares about it.
Right.
No one really cares. Like, yeah, that was cool. It went really fast. But it's just like all 3,000 of the other black ones that are fast. But when you build a rat rod or you build something that's custom, there's only one of those.
Right.
And you did it, and it's cool, and it's a part of your family now because your kids come out and it's got a name, and it's like, yeah, my dad put this in there, or my wife put that in there, or I put this in there because of my grandpa. And it just has a soul, it has like a personality and it has a meaning. But when you buy that computer and you just plug it in your house, and one day it just decides to shit the bed and burn your whole house down, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. It just, to me, our car, we have somewhat of a car community in our. I mean, we do have a huge. I mean, like look at Buggies and Blue. Like holy
Right.
crap, man! Like a bunch of cars showed up in North Dakota. Like what? I was like, no way is there this many cars in North Dakota. And it's like, man, I mean, people love their cars up there, you know. And I mean, and I travel all over the United States to different car shows, and people just like us, we love our cars. But I try to think of it as a worldwide thing, and we're the ones that are willing to go out and put the time in and work on them. But it's feeding daily on work ethic and people that really want to go out and like make a difference and do something cool like that, because everybody's fallen into that easy protocol. It's just easy. You know what? Just
Right.
charge it up, go get a loan, buy the car, and just drive with air conditioning and everything perfect, you know? But I don't know, man. I have a hard time with that. I'm like,
Right.
I'm like not going to spend $100,000 on a truck, you know? Like, I could go get one today, but I drive a 67 Power Wagon, you know what I mean? With
Right.
it.
Yeah,
That
what-
I made it. You
what's-
know?
what's
I built
the-
this thing? It's full of tools, you
Yeah.
know?
What's the newest vehicle you own, Steve? What you got, third gen Dodge?
Okay. I'm not going to lie. I do have a '06 Dodge that I have my welding equipment in. That I picked it up for a pretty good deal.
Well, that's not
But
new.
my daily driver is a '67 Chevy short box. But I put a LQ9 LS motor in it. And it's got air conditioning. I mean,
Yeah. You got it
it's
where you're at.
okay.
Yeah.
I was waiting
I
for
mean,
something.
it's not a brand new truck, but it does good.
I was waiting for something to come out like, well, I lease.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was what he's gonna say.
I thought for
What?
sure you had
That
like
you
a,
lease.
or maybe you daily like an E-Class Mercedes or
Yeah,
something like that.
You got your lease that
yeah,
you.
no, I don't know. Like my oldest or my youngest son, he has a CTSV Cadillac that and older one. It's like a 14 or something, but
Is it a wagon?
he's a big late Cadillac. Like he's got a
Sure.
GTO with a LS, and he's kind of into that late model. It's his generation, of course.
Still cool.
And of course, every day we sit at the kitchen table and we talk about, BMWs, Mercedes, and he knows so much about it that I kind of learn a lot from him on what's hip and what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And if I had to buy a brand new car, it would be the Cadillac CTSV. That's what I would do. I'd do a 4-door sedan.
There you go.
If I was going to buy a new one, because it's still kind of. I mean, shoot, man, we're losing everything right now. It's still a supercharged V8. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But man, in a few more years, we'll probably just be flying to where we're going. I don't know.
Right.
They'll be throwing all these cars away. They'll be flying everywhere.
Yeah. Well, it's even like Lamborghini, who was like the last of like, the badass V12, these big V12 supercars. Even like that's what was their claim to fame, and now they're even transitioning out of putting V12s, and I think they're all going to be running twin turbo V8s, and it's like everybody, even if it was down to their core to hang on to, the essential high horsepower, naturally aspirated. Everybody's just transitioning now. It's almost coming from a business standpoint and a EPA standpoint. So it sucks because you can almost say the end is near.
Yeah, yeah. It's getting to. I don't know. Our world's just crazy right now. It's so fast moving. I mean, if you look at if you think of just the last 120 years of our lives, how much has changed since the Industrial Revolution. I mean, 125 years ago from right now, they were still running steam engine trains.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Now we have trains that do, 500 miles an hour?
Yeah.
Well, we have electric trains now.
We have airplanes that fly 500 miles an hour, 600 miles an hour. We have, electric cars. We have, holy crap. Can you imagine, what about the 2,000 years before the Industrial Revolution? 2,000, 5,000 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So you mean to tell me that in 1400, when Christopher Columbus came over here, from then till 1900 or 1850s, for what, 14, 15, 16, 17, 8, for 400 years, they just rode horses. Like, yeah, we're just going to ride horses every day. For 400 years, they rode horses. You know what I mean? And just in our last 120 years, look where we're at right now.
Right.
Like, it's insane. We've gone completely from a buggy and a horse to literally a Tesla that goes 9 seconds and a quarter mile that you can go down and buy and go get your groceries in it.
Right.
You know
Like, what?
what's crazy is, so my first career background was oil field, so I kind of, read up on the history. It's crazy how, once we discovered petroleum, how fast we ran through that resource within 80 to 90 years to where we got to slowly transitioning into other resources. So imagine if they discovered petroleum back in 1600, where we would be at today if we've already tapped our petroleum resources in like 100 years. So, but yeah, the crazy how fast-paced our world got once petroleum and kerosene got discovered.
Yeah, the
Oh,
change.
yeah. I mean, petroleum is in everything that we touch, like, everybody's like, oh, save the planet, quit drilling, we don't need petroleum, and I get it, whatever. But at the same moment, it's like, when you put your glasses on in the morning, that's made out of petroleum.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole gas in your car is made out of petroleum.
Yeah.
It's like,
Like every piece that you damn near touch is made out of some sort of petroleum. So it's like, how can, all these plastic bottles and all this crap that we've got, I mean, it's like people. I mean,
yeah, it's like,
but that did, even our vitamins that we take in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
the
it's
shit
like,
that covers it, made out of petroleum. Like we swallow that crap.
it's like our world was just a small block Chevy, and then once they found petroleum, it's like, boom, we slapped twin turbos on that thing, and we just took off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, seriously. And it's like not even looking back now. Like,
No.
we're just so far.
What's the point?
We're so far out there.
Yeah.
I have to.
And like, I don't know. Like, I remember my grandpa going, I don't know what's going on with this world. You guys I'm going to be out of here before I have to see all that crap. And now I'm sitting here at, 50 years old doing the same thing. Like, shoot, I'll be in 25 years or 30 years from now, and this is all like crazy. It'll be over for me anyway, and then I don't have to worry about it. But, and there's nothing we can do to change it. I think everybody is it's like this big run to the end, like money thing. Like, who can invent this? Who can invent that? Let's make this, let's do that, let's do this, and then when you invent something, let's dissect it and invent more stuff off that and a little bit more off that, to the point to where it's so diluted. And I mean, it's kind of like TV right now. People ask, why aren't you on TV right now? And I'm like, I can't compete with boobies on TikTok.
True.
Like, for sure.
Who cares what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Who cares what I'm doing? You know what I mean?
So
like,
true.
No one cares.
Yeah.
Like, I can do the cool, like right now, I'm bagging this International truck. It's an ugly truck, but it's a 55 ugly International, slamming it on the ground, doing cool shit to it to make it kind of a cool truck. But no one really cares. I mean, who cares? Who cares what I'm doing? You know what I mean? I keep my audience going because my car guys that love cars and stuff, they watch. They think it's cool.
Yeah.
But, like, the rest of the world don't think it's cool. But if I was to, like, I actually did a post yesterday. I don't know if you guys seen it on there yesterday. I did a post on my Instagram. And I was showing the truck, and I was talking about, like, man, I wish I could show you guys my boobs right now because you guys would probably really watch my start following me more. And I go, but I only have, like, these little A-cup boobs. And then I go, you guys want to see a set of bags? And then I went over to the bags, and I'm like, check out these double bellow bags. They're going to go in the front of this. I'm going to have two big bags in the front. And I had to, like, what do? You got to make fun of it.
Yeah.
Like, literally right before.
You got to laugh at
it.
it.
The reason why that made me think of that is right before I made my post, I was going to make a post about my progress, basically, is all on my story. And I kicked on my Instagram, and here's this chick with some, pretty good large size, units on her, and she's running through the park talking to herself, well, guys, I thought I'd go out for a jog today, and her boobs are just bouncing everywhere. And I'm like, this is bullcrap. Like, no one's even going to watch mine.
Yeah.
No one's even who cares?
Yeah.
Because it caught me. I'm sitting there stuck watching it. And I'm like, so, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a shame. It's really a shame that, like, so what I'm saying is we are so desensitized. Everything is there's so much of it. And it's like, once Instagram came out, I was right at the top. I was right there when the Instagram was coming out. Is when I started doing mine, right? And Instagram was cool. People were showing their stuff. And then pretty soon it was like, okay, well, how can I get more attention? All right, well, let's run a truck into the wall. Let's just run into the wall. Here, spot me across the face. Oh, you know what? Let's just blow this car up. Hey, let's jump this car clear out here and just brand new Tesla and just total it. And, that's what you're competing with. No one wants to see the airbags going in this ugly International. I mean, a few of us do, but how do you caption the world?
Right.
And now there's so much of that crap everywhere on the internet.
Oh, it's bad.
That every time you swipe your phone up, it's something new. Okay, I'm bored. I mean, at some point, I feel like people are going to just get, like, they're just so desensitized that they're going to be looking for
something real,
something normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And the normal, I don't know, it's just pretty boring. I mean, it's pretty boring after you've seen everything. I mean, you get on that internet and you can see anything you want to see. And it's just bullshit.
Yep.
That's where our world's going. So, like, as far as TV goes, so TV now has to compete with all of that, and that's why ratings go away. That's why they can't pay you any money because no one's buying commercials because Susie Lee can get in her bikini and wash the car and get more views than frickin' Motor Trend. You know what I mean? Like, It's stupid, So they're going to give her the money because she's getting more viewers because she's not washing the car in her bikini.
Right.
Which I'm not saying anything bad about. I think it's hot too, but I'm just saying, like,
puts you in a tough spot though.
We're just in a tough place in life where there's no changing that. I don't see anything changing that.
No. The only thing, maybe just cut the jean shorts a little shorter.
That's it. I know. I've believe me. I thought about it.
Yeah, start there, I guess.
Daisy Duke gets like one of my butt cheeks hanging out.
Yeah. Maybe
that ought to go.
Yeah, okay. maybe start there. I don't know, but and it's funny when we interviewed John Schneider and he was on our show and he kind of said the exact same thing. It's like, back when he did Dukes of Hazzard, there was only a few networks, like 2 or 3, I think, at the time. So it's when there's only 3 networks to watch. You're famous and everybody knows who you are. But now there's how many thousands and thousands of networks that same actor is not as famous because there's so many more of these networks and all these new people are coming in that you're just you're getting to be, even though you are famous, but you're just getting to be a small fish in a huge pond. And it's kind of like that with social media. There's so much out there and there's so much competition and there's so much other stuff like you said, like you can build something cool but when you're competing against, the whole boob issue, it's just, it makes it tough.
Well, and the thing is I feel like it's so saturated of content. Like, people, I mean, that's all we're doing today. Like, I have my YouTube guy come today to catch up on content in here for, 20,000 people to watch it, 30,000, I don't know, 40, I don't know, 50, 100, hopefully 100,000 watch it. I don't know. And it's hard to get, if you keep your channel legit and you try not to involve a bunch of filthy crap on it.
Right. Still got to make it worth your time, though.
It's hard to be successful at it because people want to work. They want to see you chop your hand off. They want to see a set of knockers in the background. They want to see, somebody throwing, beer bottles at a frickin' building and throwing a fit and acting like an idiot. And that's what people want to see. And I'm not doing that shit. I don't care. I don't even care. I don't even need it that bad. Like I just don't care.
Mm-hmm. But at least
and
at least you can say that even with that person you're competing against, not everybody's been on a 5-finger death punch video, so it's kind of cool there.
Yeah, that video is sweet.
Yeah. So how did all that come about? Like how did like
you need to watch that video
you're
again.
at work one day and all of a sudden like somebody just like reaches out to you and be like, "Hey, I think you're cool. We want to put your stuff on a video," and you're like, "Sure."
Well, actually, no. It was Zoltan from 5 Finger Death Punch. He's the guitar player with dreadlocks. You know.
Yep.
And we were at where were we at? Oh, actually, one of my friends, Ryan, introduced me to him because my buddy Ryan knew him. And then I met up with him at I went to a motorcycle auction, and we all went there together. And me and Zoltan are walking around, and he's like, "Dude, I really want to do a music video with you," because I took him for a ride in my diesel rat rod. He flipped down. He's like, "What the hell?" And so, anyway, he goes, "Let's do a music video. I got this song that I want to do." And I'm like, "All right, well, just let me know what's going on." So he goes, "Well, I'm going to, like, on tour." He had to go on tour somewhere. So he's like, "You think you can get all this shit together, and then when I get back, we'll do it?" I'm like, "Sure," because I wanted to just see if I could do it. So I got.
Did you think he was serious, or do you think he was just talking the talk?
No, he was serious. Like I could tell he was serious, And I was like, "All right, well, dude, let's do it. I'll bring all the cars. Let me do all this work and get this thing going." So I got about 40 people at my house, dude, and I started dressing some people, and I was like, "Okay, now if you guys can all kind of look like this for the video, this is what we want it to look like." And then I got a forklift. I got a bunch of scaffolding. I went to my buddy that owns a tent awning company here in Vegas, and I got all his ripped tents that were he was thrown away.
Nice.
And I took him out there, and I started building this little town. And I made all these little tents. If you look really close in the video, you'll see.
Mm-hmm.
I brought my motorhome out there that's all painted welder up and stuff. And I decorated it. I brought all the shit from my yard out there, and I decorated the whole, like, this isn't a day. So, I mean, I took one day. I got, most of my guys from the Welder Up crew to come help me do it. And so I started putting all this stuff together. And then we just built this little town. And then the next day we brought all our cars out there. And then Zoltan showed up. He's like, "Oh, yeah, this is cool." I'm like, "Well, yeah, let's do this shit." And they dressed up and stuff, and we shot this whole music video. And then when it was over, I'm not like a rock star, so they didn't really have to clean the shit up. I did, type of thing. But anyway, so I tore the whole town down and put it all away and drove that forklift about 10 miles back to my house by the time it was over in a rainstorm. And yeah, it was crazy, man. It was a cool video though. Like we did a lot of
what song is that again?
Cool stuff. House of the Rising Sun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's a banger.
Yeah, it's a good song.
Mm-hmm.
It was really
video.
cool.
Yeah.
But
what all cars did you have in that video? I know you had.
He had the Charger.
You had a Charger. You had
the Hearst.
There was a convertible in there too, wasn't there?
Well, I think you had the big Hearst in there.
Yeah,
right?
we had the Lincoln. We had it wasn't the Charger. It was a Cadillac. It was before we built the Charger.
Oh yeah.
But we had that Cadillac in there.
It's like a Hearst
and then we had the D-Rod, and I was with the Donut Town all over the dry like that, and it was pretty badass.
Yeah, I need to watch that video again. I like that video. Yeah.
Yeah, Top of the Rising Sun. It got some pretty good views, but it was really cool. Like I said, I should have been a singer. But
yeah, but to be a part of that, and Five Fingers, well-known
Huge.
band, and they're huge too. So to be a part of that is, and it's one thing that if they ask to have your cars in there, which is an honor, but even to have you in it also, I mean, that's got to be cool.
Oh yeah, no, it was really cool to be in the video, and I mean it was crazy because my kids are in it.
Oh
you
yeah,
can kind of see them in there.
Yep.
And then my buddy with the horse and his dogs, I brought all the dogs, and we brought a pig. We got that pig out there.
Clown show.
And, I even had my ex-wife in it.
Dude, that's cool.
She came down. I go, hey, you want to be in a music video? She's like, yeah. I go, come on down. So I put her in there. And she's actually the blonde that's laying there with Ivan Lee at the beginning of the video.
At the beginning or at the end?
I think
it's at the beginning.
When they were
at the beginning. Yep. Dude, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a fun little video.
Yeah.
Seriously, it was pretty cool.
Probably something you'll never forget.
It was cool to be a part of it. And now that time's gone by, I kind of look back and you look at some of the stuff you've done, and it's pretty cool. It's just.
Mm-hmm. And when you think it kind of fits his style too to have your cars in a video.
Yeah, it turned out really good. We were trying to get it out before they came out with that Mad Max movie.
Mm-hmm. The second one, yeah.
We tried to get it out before, and I think we did just before it. But and I think that helped it out too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
It was a good deal. It was a good call. I mean, it all worked out really good.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's a cool song and cool video.
Yeah, and so it got me. And the reason why I want to do it because I've always wanted to produce and direct a movie. Like I just love that stuff. That's kind of what I really want to do. But it's like John Snyder said. I mean, there's so much stuff now.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I mean, it's not like when Halloween, the first original Halloween came out. It went crazy.
Mm-hmm.
People never thought it would, But now they've made so many of them. But like when it first came out, it was on TV and everybody had to watch it. It wasn't like there's 5,000 other scary movies.
Right.
Now there's so much stuff on there that, I mean, you go on you get on your Netflix or whatever, and it's like, what do you want to watch? Scary movies? Okay, well, let's go to scary movies, and there's like hundreds of them.
Right. Yeah.
I think there's always room for content, and there's always room for a movie because everybody's watched everything. So there is room for that, and that's why I haven't given up on my movie thing yet. I would really rather do that than anything, but I just got to get myself in position. And right now, I'm just, my shop's still going, and I'm still building stuff, and I really need to get that out of my life so I can do something else.
Yeah,
but
and it'll happen because I've been following you, and I remember when your show first started, and watching from then till now. And I mean, I remember your shop was small, and you had like a job trailer off on the side that was like your office that was just like this tiny little like trailer, like a construction job office, and like that's what you kind of worked out of. And I remember watching your show back then compared to now, and just think of like how you've grown. So I'm pretty sure that things will work out.
Yeah, I mean it's inevitable to grow, like you have to, and then of course when you got restrictions from Discovery Channel telling you, hey, we have to have this car done in 15 or 20 days. Like, all right, well, I got to get some equipment in here to help me get it done because I started with a freaking chop saw and a freaking grinder and a welder.
Right.
It's not like I woke up one day and go, I'm going to be a fabricator. I'm going to go buy $200,000 worth of crap and become a welder.
Yeah.
Like this is, progressively moving. I mean, I basically took everything off my portable welding truck and put it in my shop because I portable welded for a long time too. I just would show up and weld wherever, and I started moving all my tools back in my shop, got some iron workers, and, eventually got I had an old beat down shear for a long time for cutting plates, using my torches instead of a plasma cutter. And, you start to grow, and
right.
you got to make it faster. And I mean, that's our life, dude. Is everybody wants everything right now. Come on, let's go.
Yep.
And like TV, you can't mess around. These guys want to get it done. They got to get it edited and get it on the air. And
yep. And that's it's kind of like the same thing I say too. It's like everybody's got that drive-through, that fast restaurant mentality. It's they want it right now. They don't want to wait for nothing.
No,
Yeah.
we're all
that drive-through mentality.
And with what we
We're
do,
all-
that's
yeah,
it's not really how
we're
it
all-
works. It's like, it states like in our contracts that there's no timelines. Like we're building you something custom and unique. Well, it's there's no point to having a timeline on that. Unless you're being pushed by alternative reasons. It's like, well, this is a you got to have some patience. This is time is not of the essence in a sense. So,
But it sucks when you got a big production company. That's,
well, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But
like you can't, like I can't even probably explain to you guys, honestly, how hard it is. Like it's, I mean, like I said, we're not just throwing a paint job on a car real quick.
No.
right.
Kicking
No.
it out the door with some wheels on it. Like we're
Handmade.
completely building this thing. We got a motor and a transmission out of this thing, and we got to build
Retrofit
the frame
it,
for
yeah.
And we got to put the transmission mount and make it all work, and then we got to put a rear end in it, 4-link it or ladder bar it, and get it all where it works, and then
Right.
Yeah, it's far from
depending on
just
what this
assembly.
guy wants, and then when you're done, do you know that every episode I think of TV, when we test drove that car, it was the reveal that you see on TV.
Really?
Like there was no test drive. Like literally, we were wrenching on this thing, putting it on the trailer to go reveal it, and they're like, "We got to do it today. We don't care if it's done or not." And I'm like, "I do care." Like there were sometimes I'd stay there all night try to finish it because
That'd be wild.
I'd get a couple of guys in the shop. I'd be like, "Hey, are you guys down to stay with me tonight and finish this thing? Because we're screwed. Like you already know this thing's not going to work tomorrow." And we would get it done. I mean, literally go home, sleep for 3 hours, come back to the shop, and it's reveal day. Like there's no building. You're done. It's start the engine up, and everybody's like, "Woo, yay, it runs." And then it's loaded on the trailer and drive that sucker out in the middle of the desert somewhere and pray that the brakes or something don't go out on this thing while I'm trying to reveal it.
That'd be wild.
Because I got camera guys that are in the back of a minivan right straight in front of me, and we're doing 50 miles an hour down the road, and they're within 3 feet of the vehicle shooting it.
Yeah.
And it's like, if I turn this corner and the front end comes out of this thing, I'm going to run this camera guy over. Like those thoughts went through my head every time I did it, but they pushed us so hard to the end that there was no time. But we made it. We made it.
For
We
sure.
didn't go over budget. Every time we did it, we made it. I don't know how we did it, but these guys on my crew they're just badass people. They're super talented and they're dedicated, and they didn't want to fail. They wanted to pull through and
That's
make
awesome.
it happen. It's
That
kind
is
of crazy.
awesome.
I explain it to people. It's like, it's like going to war and you got your group, you got your team,
For sure.
and we're going to go out here and we're going to fight today, and we're all coming back. And we do. We fought every day, man, to try to get this done. And it really, it makes you disciplined, and it really kind of just, it molds you as a human being and makes you tough. I mean, like all those guys that were on here are probably the toughest. Like a lot of the crew, I'm not saying all of them because some of them are a little different, but my main crew around me, them guys were all just, they're badass.
Yeah.
You know?
Tried and true.
And, they just came in. It was, like in the summertime, it didn't matter what time of the year it was, but it'd be 100 degrees. And, we'd work in here for 12 hours a day in the shop. And they can't open the doors up because it screws up the lighting. And then then it's just like everybody's dying in here, People are having heat strokes and shit. It was like,
Wow.
it was insane. It was really hard. And I was an iron worker. I grew up in the sun all day working in steel, and then you come in the shop and you shut the doors and it's not super ventilated really well, and it's like, the environment's not great, and you're like locked in a prison cell with, literally 15 people with the production. I mean, there's people behind that you don't see that are all over the place in here.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you're trying to make it all work and build a car, and it's so hard because I'm the one trying to put this project together, but yet I'm directing the production too, because they don't really know what I'm doing, and they don't really know like when it's going to start, when it's going to run, when the part's going to go in, when the part's going to come out. Like I have to tell them all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so much more. I could go on for days. I could probably tell you about like all the detail of it for days, but no one really understands it unless you're in it.
Right.
Yeah.
And people sit back and they're like, man, you got a TV show, and then it's all rainbows and cotton candy, and it must be awesome, but they don't realize the amount of stress that's involved, in having this and doing it.
Well, I'll tell you one thing for sure, and I don't know about the rest of the TV shows, and I know they're a lot of work. I know there's a lot of work involved there.
Mm-hmm.
But I can tell you right now that the crew that I had in here with me and Justin and Dan and Merlin and Travis, my cousin Dave, the hard hitters, the ones that are just in here relentlessly giving it. I would literally, there isn't nobody that could hang with us on the amount of torture. You put us in the 120-degree weather here in Vegas and put us up against other guys, we're pretty badass.
Right.
I'm not saying we're the most badass, but I'm pretty confident of what we've been through, not only once, but literally with these guys, 50 full car builds and 50 B stories. So that's 100 different items we built together.
Wow. In
all kinds of different situations and weather, and guys are mad and people want to go outside and beat each other up, and there's a bunch of we're all like we're all raised rough. Every one of the guys that I had in here were not raised with a nice little great little upbringing. I mean, everybody was probably beat as a child. And that's why they're tough.
Yeah.
And that
goes a long ways.
So I told them when they came in here, I was like, "Did your dad beat you?" And they're like, "Yeah, kind of." And I'm like, "All right, well, you're hired."
Perfect. Yeah. We want you.
You can take.
Yeah.
No, but that goes to stand for a lot, though. That to have that kind of dedication, and that's the kind of people that you need.
What's that again?
Just to have that kind of dedication. That's the kind of people that you need. Is people like that on your crew.
Yeah, no, they're pretty. They're a pretty badass bunch of dudes, and I don't talk to a lot of them now. A lot of them are doing their own thing, or they're, often, just doing whatever they're doing. Like Justin, my brother-in-law, he went to work for the power company out where he lives, and he lives 60 miles. He had to drive here every day, 60 miles. So I was like, this job opportunity came up. I'm like, dude, just take it, do it. It's you did. He's like, and he was so grateful to be able to do what he did here at Welder Up. Like, he's like, man, what a cool thing. We get to leave a legacy, and, we did this. And I go, yeah, now go, and he was young and he can recover from it. A lot of us old guys, we got in a little bit in the game, and we're just like still in here building junk, But I mean, like, a lot of them just, it gave them a boost to do different things in their life. Some took it good, some took it bad, you know. And, it's hard to keep everybody happy when you're doing this stuff and give everybody the attention they need to, because I'm so busy mentally and physically that I just, you can't massage everybody's sad days,
So do you think that that's kind of leading you more towards the, like you're doing seminars and stuff for like welding and teaching and stuff. Is that kind of why you started in doing that versus keep continuing to build and doing like what you started out to do? Is just kind of like less stress on you.
Point where, I mean, when I start a car project for somebody, it's a year and a half of my life in here building somebody's dream.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I don't mind it if his money's good, but then on the flip side, it's like at the end of the day, it's not like I can do a lot of other things that. Can you hang on a second?
Yep.
Just go. If he's not here, just go. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my other guys in the shop right here kind of confused on what to do next.
Sure.
But I don't know, sorry, I got sidetracked there for a minute. I don't know what the hell I was talking about. I'm trying to bag this. I'm trying to bag this international today,
Oh, sure.
and my YouTube guy's supposed to show up, but he isn't here. So I'm like, you know what, just go for it, just get it done.
Oh, what the heck?
I'm done. But no, I mean, as far as like the welding schools go and stuff like that, I just feel like
And that seemed to be
what I
taking
would-
off pretty good.
what's that?
That seems to be taking off pretty good for you.
Yeah, it isn't bad. I'm trying to. What I'd really like to do is try to get it bigger, where I can start giving grants out to these younger kids because
Nice.
unfortunately, dude, the school I get maybe one young guy, the rest of them are all my age.
Mm-hmm.
They're all older guys that want to just learn how to weld and do it for fun and but these younger guys, it's just, I don't know, there's not too many out there that really want to do it. But it's funny because I had this guy come in, and really cool dude, and three prison guards from California came in from Folsom Prison, and all three of them wanted to take the course. So I gave them the course, and one of them went home. They all went home and started building stuff. But one of them's got his 10-year-old daughter just going to town right now. She's building all this horseshoe art because we build them. I built these little horseshoe cowboy hat holders.
Yeah.
And I mean, they went home, and he's with her, I swear, every day out in the garage, building horseshoe art, like toilet paper holders, hat holders, boot holders, designs to hang on your wall. And then she goes to the church on Saturday and sells them in the parking lot. And I'm like,
Oh, nice.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, here's this, out of all of this stuff, I got a little girl that's 10 years old, or 12, I don't know, she's somewhere right around there, just sits up a little table out there at church and sells all her artwork. Now she's doing little YouTube videos on how they go together.
Oh,
It's great.
That is awesome.
And so, yeah, but, man, I'd really like to see kids in their, teens and 20s get in here and, really, try to do it, but I don't know. I'm going to work on some things and see if I can start getting some sponsorships to try to make it cheap
Right.
for these kids to come,
Yeah.
That's the hard part.
Yeah, and I can see that, and a lot of that takes so much time.
It really does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it really does. It takes forever.
Yeah. Well, Steve,
But
it's still pretty cool that everything that you've done, and that it's not just about the spotlight. Like your big intentions is, to give something back, and hopefully, like you said, to see somebody take your class and make a career or do something cool out of it. I mean, that's pretty neat.
Yeah, it probably gives you a little bit different kind of fulfillment over, building a cool hot rod for somebody. So it's still a good feeling, but kind of in a different way.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm just hoping that, people can grab onto this because, no matter what, we're always going to be doing some welding in this world.
Definitely.
I mean, we can't make everything out of plastic,
No, sure can't. No.
So, I mean, and as long as we can get some welders out there and, I mean, I don't know. To me, it always seemed like, it's probably not the best environment sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same moment, at the end of the day, you just feel like such a badass when you're done and you've made something and you
Right.
feel like you've accomplished something that, you're bleeding a little bit and you're sweating and you're a little bit upset and angry and fight through it. But at the end of the day, when you go home and your wife and kids are there and your little kid jumps on your lap and he's like, I remember jumping on my dad's lap, smelling his arms from
Right.
working all day, the sweat.
Yeah.
I'm like, what a badass,
Yeah.
it's like, that's so cool,
Yeah.
And I I don't know. Maybe those are the things that drive me to be who I am today.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's just a matter of, just the desire. Not very many people have the desire,
Right.
Anymore,
And I think that goes a lot
What's
to
that?
say for guys like, because I'm like the same way. I'm a metal guy, and it's like I like to build stuff out of metal and weld and beat and grind and cut and, and I tried to teach myself how to paint and do body work just because I was like, well, if you're going to build stuff, I might as well learn how to paint and do all that. And now found out that it's not for me. I'm going back to doing metal and cutting and welding and fabricating. That's just where I'm at. And that's like you just got that love for it.
Yeah, that's the thing, and so do I. I mean, like, I'm not, I'm pretty decent at it, but like, I got these guys around me that are so good, like Justin and Travis.
Mm-hmm.
They're all like, oh man, they're just so good, and I learn a lot of things, I mean, just because I'm here doesn't mean I know everything, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've learned a lot with the guys around me, and sometimes you got to get the right guy for the right job, that knows how to do it. I mean,
Right.
we're all capable of building our own vehicle. Everybody that came in can build their own car from the ground up. We all know how to do that. But there is guys that are better at some things than others. And that's why you kind of get them in the corner and you're like, okay, well, I need this motor built like this. I'm not an engine builder. Can I build an engine? Yeah, I could build one.
Mm-hmm.
It'd take me 10 times longer than the guy that knows how to do it.
Right.
So you just get the guy in there that knows what he's doing. And then, you get another guy that, is like good at sheet metal, another guy that's good at building a frame, and you just put them in their corner and you go, okay, that's what we got to do.
Mm-hmm.
And, it was really cool to watch them come together at the end of the whole deal and see it happen, from just dudes that just got so much talent,
Right. I can see that. Yep. And that's that's where it's good to put your team together on something like that.
Yeah. That goes with anything. I mean, it doesn't even have to be car building. It's just like, get the right guy for the right job, put him where he needs to be, and everything will start clicking. But you can't, it's funny because some people can do other jobs, but they don't really like it. Like, I don't like to wire nothing. I hate wiring. I don't have the brain capacity to be focused on it that long without something distracting me. I have to be 100% undistracted to be able to do wiring.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, if I got to make a motor mount for something, I can do that and still talk to somebody, But the wiring, I can't do.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we get it. I think I'm kind of the same
Yeah,
way.
me and you are like that in a sense for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey, Steve, I know you're busy, and I can't thank you enough for taking the time out and talking on our podcast. Like I said, I can't thank you enough. And hopefully here shortly, maybe I can get down to Vegas and check out your facility and look you up and maybe hang out for a little bit.
Yeah.
That'd be sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wanted to come check your guys' stuff out, but I was dragging all different directions.
Yeah, no, we get it. Yeah.
But it was
All
it
good.
was fun, man. I really had fun up in North Dakota and
Yeah.
enjoyed myself, and
Yeah. So hey,
it was a really cool community.
yeah. So I got to ask you one quick question that it was kind of been egging on me ever since you were up here in North Dakota, and we'll just talk about it real briefly. But when you went over to, was it Hyundai? They gave you that electric car.
Oh yeah,
See, you giggled.
yeah. I got some shit for that.
What? You gotta watch. Did you see him on his Instagram?
No.
And that? Dude, you gotta. If you can go back.
What is
and-
this about?
You just got to look at the look on his face when they gave him that electric car to, I think you were supposed to drive it or they gave it to you to use or something. And I watched
Yeah,
it over and over. Like,
It was pretty funny because, it was a big deal to them because they're trying to promote that electric car up there, and I know, and you guys don't really have the infrastructure really for an electric car really at this point,
No.
but, it was all I could do to get in the front seat of that car. I was looking around for like one of those little man buns you can put on top of your head.
You should.
And
Start
I'm
wearing
like,
some
here, I'm
gloves.
in North Dakota in oil country right now. I'm going to get beat up at the next gas station I pull over to grab something to drink.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
But-
some dude's going to get out of a service truck and,
Yeah.
you know,
And it's funny
get
because
out of here.
like he's just sitting in the car and he's just like shaking his head and he's just like, oh man, I so want to go off about this car, but I can't.
Yeah.
And I just
I
wanted
do,
to,
dude.
Yeah.
and I watched
I
it.
wanted to, but I didn't want to talk shit on it because I think they were one of the sponsors for me to be there, and I didn't want to be, you know, I'm like, oh, damn, dude, you had to put me in an electric car. Why?
Yeah, you couldn't have like a big diesel truck or something, but yeah, no, I get it. But yeah, I had to ask because it was just funny when you watch that Instagram little reel. It's like, yeah, you can just see the expression on your face.
Yeah, you know, it was all out of good fun.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's kind of funny because I do talk a little shit on electric cars, but it was kind of like I was put on the spot to drive it, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to eat my boot right now. You know, these guys are like sponsoring me to be here, and,
Yeah,
you know,
Yeah.
I got to drive this thing, you know what I mean? Like, I got to go drive it around. And then at one moment, I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I am going to go drive the shit out of this thing. I'm going to see if it really does run good.
Yeah.
yeah. No, that's cool. Well, hey, I hate to cut this short. We're running out of battery here, but again, Steve, hey, thanks, man. I can't appreciate it. We'll look you up when we come down there, and hopefully we can hook up and meet again. And I'd like to check out your facility down there. So, kind of looking forward to when we get down there. Don't forget to check
for
us.
sure.
Yeah. So again, thanks, Steve Darnell, Welder Up. Don't forget, we're on Super Talk AM Radio 1270. Check out our Facebook. We got TikTok. We got Instagram. Dakota Customs with the K and Z. Drop us a comment, thumbs up, and if you like it, leave a comment. And if not, we'll see you in the next episode.
Yeah. Sounds good. See
Yeah.
you, Steve.
Thanks. See you, Steve.
Thanks, guys.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.
It does not record for an hour and a half well.
We got to find a different.
Hour and a half is not meant to do an hour and a half.
We got Steve Darnell.
Dude, yeah, we
Come
were just
on.
letting them flow. Like, I was
Yeah.
like, we got to seize this opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, this is how it gets us in to get more people.
It was a good show.
Unless
Right,
you
get
got
it
an hour and
on.
a half nap in.
I think it's still on there.
Oh, is he?
Maybe.
Are you on there, Steve?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, all right. No, we're good. We got it all shut down. So, again, thanks, Steve, man. It means a lot.
Yeah, no problem, man.
All right,
Thanks
take
for
care.
having me on your show.
Yeah, take care and
Come see,
stay cool.
Come see me when you come to town.
Yeah, absolutely. I got your number, so I'll when we cruise down there, I'll hook you up. I'll definitely do that. Looking forward to it.
Cool.
Cool.
Sounds good,
Thanks, brother. Yep. Bye.
Okay, boys.
Yep.
See you guys later.
See ya.